Okay, so we're on to part 2 of the video, and I just pasted in my last loop. I'm going to come up to Effect, and I've been changing my pitch. I've been making it go higher, so I want to go ahead and change it so it goes up to F this time. So we'll let it go ahead and do that. Now the next step is that we want to go back and listen to what we've created. So I have my loop is repeated 6 times. It's just over 30 seconds long. If your loop was longer, you may only need to repeat it like 3 times in that case, and that's okay. You just want to make sure that you have it repeated at least 3 times, otherwise you don't really get the effect of having the loop. So the next step after I've listened to it is that I get to record my voice. And for recording our voice, we get to think of, a list or a sentence that we're going to repeat. I'm going to try to do it 6 times to go along with the background that I have, or maybe I do it 3 times where it catches every 2 times. So this is where, you could think of a poem. You could come up with a sentence. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. A tongue twister. You could come up with a list of something. So like I could use the 7 elements of music could be my list. I'm sure you could think of many, many lists of different things. Remember in Einstein on the Beach, they use numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then they'll actually change the pitch each time. And then as it goes on, sometimes they'll leave out numbers, like they'll leave out the number 1. So we're going to change our list or our sentence slightly each time. So I'm going to try to do the different elements of music, although for each loop I'm going to try to say 2 of them, and I'll say 2 different ones each time. So it kind of hopefully will change slightly gradually then. Now the only thing I need to do, obviously I need to make sure my microphone is hooked up, and to do that you can actually just hit record. And then if you start talking, a new track will appear. Now you see my track, since I'm talking right now, is actually appearing where I had my cursor. I'm going to want it to line up with my music, so I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. And then just by closing out of that track, deletes it. And then I'll go ahead and move it back to the beginning. Now I should say it may not be a bad idea if you want to save your project. Now this is the one you can't upload in Blackboard, but I'll go ahead and save that just in case I accidentally delete something or do something I don't want to do. So I have my cursor moved back to the beginning. So now if I hit record, you can hear the music's playing in the background, and that way, I know exactly what I'm recording over. I'll go ahead and hit stop. And so that way, I can hear it while I'm recording. It would be a really good idea at this time to put on headphones, so that way your microphone isn't picking up what's coming through your speakers. If you're already working with your headset on, then you're great and you don't have to worry about anything else. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pause the video for a bit and record my audio. Oh, and I forgot one thing that I should say. If it's not playing when you hit record, you need to come up to Edit, go to Preferences, and then come down to Recording. And you want to make sure that it's checked so it says overdub where it's playing other tracks while recording a new one. Sometimes you may want to take that off. It can be annoying, but most of the time we want it on. So you can go ahead and then check that and click OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and record my audio. Okay, so I have recorded my voice. Now I actually did this twice. I wasn't sure which one I would like better, so I recorded 2 tracks. Now since I have it set to playback, I just hit mute on the first one and that will make it not play back. And then I can just click to unmute, and I could do the same thing. I could come down and mute the bottom track, and then listen to see which one I liked better. Now I decided I liked the bottom one better, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit the X and delete that first one. So now I have my music track, and I have my vocal track. Now the next step is we want to make sure our volume levels are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm back at the beginning and hit play. Tone color, texture, melody. Now it actually sounds from my voice is just a touch louder than the music, so I could either do one of 2 things. I could make the music louder, and I can just use the slider where I can turn the gain up by several decibels, or I could turn the gain on my voice track down just a little bit. The other slider is for left-right stereo, so left speaker, right speaker, so you can just ignore that slider. I'm going to go ahead and hit play and see if I like the way this sounds. Tone color, texture, melody. Good, I think that balances a lot better, so I hardly had to change anything, but it balances out a lot nicer. So make sure you listen to that before you submit your assignment, just so we can hear both tracks. The last step, you're going to come up to File. Remember, don't just hit Save, you have to come down to Export. So click on Export, give it a title, and then save it like this. This is going to save it as a WAV file, or technically export as a WAV file. It pops up with this menu. Click OK, and then go ahead and upload your file in Blackboard.